Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite moviegoer. In today's video, I'm going to be defending Scar. If you guys haven't already seen Mufasa the Lion King, you guys can go watch my review on it. I made a YouTube short about it, so yeah, you guys can go watch that. But if you have seen it, let's talk about it. So, if you guys don't know, I'll give you like a very quick sum of what happened in the story in the movie. Mufasa and Scar are not related, truly related. They're not blood brothers. Mufasa had his own mom and dad, but he was separated from them by this like big wave or this river crashing. It was crazy. And then he ended up seeing Scar. He asked Scar for his help, and Scar helped him. Scar then said that he always wanted a brother, and that's how that song came into play. Scar's family didn't necessarily immediately accept Mufasa, but as time went on, the mom came to love Mufasa as if that was her own, but the father did not. Um, there was a whole bunch of stuff. These outsider lions tried to destroy the prize, so Mufasa and Scar had to leave. At that point in time, Scar was not called Scar. His name was T'Challa, if I'm saying that right. They went on this whole journey to get to Malaysia, which is known as Pride Rock now, and the original Lion King. They met Mufasa's wife along the way, and it was this whole big journey. Anyways, later in the story, it is revealed that Scar liked Mufasa's wife. What was her name? I can't remember her name. I think it was Sarabi. I think that's what it was called. Her name was Sarabi. And so Mufasa was like trying to give him advice on how to get her, and it didn't work. She didn't like him. She didn't like him. She liked Mufasa. And so Scar felt betrayed by Mufasa because Mufasa started to like Sarabi Israel, and they like had a relationship, and Scar felt betrayed. And so he turned around, y'all, and went to tell the lions that were chasing after them where they were, so that those lions would essentially unalive Mufasa. I'm not gonna spoil the end, y'all go see it. But obviously in real time, I could hear people in the theater say, oh, Scar is a coward, he's trash, blah blah blah. Like, Mufasa didn't betray him, this and that, he's just a coward, he's this, he's that. And honestly, y'all, it made me so sad. It made me so sad because you're right. You're right. Mufasa did not technically betray Mufasa did not technically betray Scar. But to Scar, he was betrayed. And I feel like that's how feelings work. Like you can be looking at the same picture and seeing completely different things. You get what I'm saying? Scar, although maybe technically Mufasa didn't betray him, he was not there when Sarabi and Mufasa were telling each other their feelings. So from an outside point looking in, it could seem like Mufasa betrayed him because he was not there when they discussed their true feelings for one another. Maybe if he was there, he would not have felt betrayed, but he wasn't. So from an outsider looking in, it does kind of seem like Mufasa did take his girlfriend. You know what I mean? And Nala could have, she could have also explained to Scar that she didn't have feelings for him, but she didn't. And it's not to say there's no one to blame, obviously. To me, I just felt like in Scar's defense, and literally in Scar's defense, he didn't know. Like, also, guys, if you saw the movie, in the beginning of the film, Scar's father, I forgot his name, told Scar that he should not be friends with be friends or brothers with Mufasa. They will never be brothers. They will never be family because Mufasa will betray him. And that right there, it was already set up to fail. Their relationship was bound to fail because his father, although he probably had pure intentions, I'm sure he wasn't trying to. I'm sure he, in his mind, wasn't making Scar a future villain, but he planted a seed in his mind. So even though Scar didn't act on it at that point in time, In the back of his head, he probably always was thinking about that. Subconsciously, he was probably always thinking like, will Mufasa come to betray me? Can my own brother, the person I fight for, the person I've risked my life for thousands of times, will he betray me? That's when people do stuff like this, is how situations come about, when people are constantly giving their opinion. Have we not seen this play out in real life? Not maybe this specific situation with two brothers, but I'm sure you have witnessed a situation where people's opinions have influenced somebody's actions, and those actions led to a series of unfortunate events, which is basically what happened with Scar and Mufasa. That thought that his dad put in his mind all those years ago was always there, and eventually it came to bear. Because although technically, I guess to the audience perspective, not to me, but most of the people in the audience in the theater, this is real time. I heard people say this in the theater. Like, Scar is a coward, he's a traitor, yeah, he is a traitor. Some people perceived him as a coward, but I really didn't though. I just felt like he had a different destiny. He's not Mufasa, and he doesn't need to be. He's Scar, or he was Talakan at that time, or whatever his name was. Even Sarabi said in the movie, Scar, you will have your time. Oh no, that was his mom. Sarabi said it wasn't his destiny to be king. It was his destiny to save you. And it just goes to show how we pedestalize people, because it's okay if you're not king. Scar doesn't have to be king. I'm going off into a tangent, but let me focus on the first problem. So, yes, I feel like in Scar's defense, people were constantly putting things in his mind that he didn't act on at the time, but they came out they played out later on, because his dad told him that Mufasa will betray him. So how, you know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of hard to overcome other people's opinions, especially people that are supposed to love you, people that are your parents, people are that claim to care for you. You get what I'm saying? So even though Scar was like, he literally said like Mufasa would never do that. That thought was still in the back of his mind, and it came to play out. So in Scar's defense, can we really be mad at him when everybody in his pride was telling him that Mufasa was going to take his crown, be king, and Scar would basically amount to nothing? Can we really blame him for becoming a product of his environment? That's basically what happened. Scar became a product of his environment. His environment was constantly telling him, except for his mother, that he's weak, he's silly for trying to save Mufasa, and that Mufasa would take his crown and Mufasa would betray him. That's basically what they was telling him the whole movie. So can we really blame him for becoming a product of that environment? That's how I saw it, in my personal opinion. And then the second thing is, I'm gonna go back to what I was trying to talk about. That type of stuff happens in real life. I'm sure there are people. I'm sure you probably have witnessed a time where other people's opinions lead to someone's actions, and those actions lead to a series of unfortunate events. Scar, he was dealing, his whole family literally was telling him like, you need to be king, you need to be king. And Scar literally said, this is verbatim a line in the movie, I don't want to be king. And it's crazy because it's crazy how what people want for you and what you want from yourself how they can clash. Because Scar, the only thing Scar ever said that he wanted, what I remember from the movie, he said, I always wanted a brother. He never said he wanted to be king. He actually said he didn't want to be king. But his family, except with the exception of his mother, was mostly just the male lions was telling him, you're supposed to be king, you're supposed to be king, but you're, is this quote from Thor, and his mom says that you I something like this, I can't remember the exact words, but it was something along the lines as, everyone fails at who they're supposed to be. The true measure of a person is how well they succeed at being who they actually are. And I honestly, round of applause to Scar, because when the push came to shove, when he was actually, he could have watched Mufasa die if he would have stood by what his father said. Because if he had let Mufasa die, Scar could have became king. You know, I mean, if the outsiders didn't kill him, but Scar could have became king. But he didn't do that because it wasn't his destiny. His destiny was to save Mufasa. And it's crazy because I think a lot of times we don't see all of the things that are at play. Because yes, although Mufasa was meant to be king, he would have never been king if it wasn't for Scar. So it's sad. It's sad that we don't see things for what they actually are and appreciate people for who they actually are rather than who we think they should be. His people, Scar's people, told him he's supposed to be king, even though Scar told everybody that he did not want to be king. And then Mufasa came along, and even in the movie they said Mufasa means king. So it was very evident that Mufasa was supposed to be king, not of that pride, but of a Pride Rock, and his brother Scar was supposed to help him achieve that, and he could have if he didn't if he didn't have everybody in his face telling him that he's a loser, that he's a coward, that he's this, he's that. When they only saw the bad things about Scar, but there were a lot of good things about him. He was brave. He actually was brave because he pushed Mufasa off of that rock, and they jumped into the river. Whereas Mufasa was in that situation was being a coward because he would have rather died than face his fear. That's crazy. I'm sorry, that is crazy. You're gonna rather get killed. He would have got killed. It was like 50 other lions against him and Scar. He would have died. Then just jump off this thing. Are you crazy? But that's what I'm saying. People have their strengths. And I think that we should focus more on people's strengths than their weaknesses, because when you focus on their strengths, everybody wins. Scar's strength was helping Mufasa. And in doing that and constantly saving Mufasa and having his back, Mufasa was able to be king. Because if Scar wasn't there, let's just say Scar wasn't there when Mufasa was getting chased by those lions, he would have died, and no one, Malaysia would have never been found. He would have never become king. Simba would have never been born. You get what I'm saying? Actions lead to consequences. So, yeah. And Scar's defense. I'm not saying what Scar is perfect, and he, obviously the second movie proves that not to be true because he ended up betraying Mufasa anyway, but I'm just saying a series of events leads up to how people become, like who they become, because people aren't accepted for who they are, but they're criticized for who they're not. And I don't, it just made me sad. That movie made me so emotional. It was making me cry because I was like, wow, like this is a powerful story. And it also made me a little sad that people didn't necessarily perceive it the way that I was perceiving it. I'm not angry with anyone, but it was crazy because I was like, wow, people was really bashing Scar. And it's not that he don't deserve it. You know, he did do something wrong, but he also was being punished and criticized before that ever happened. So it was like he's damned if he do, he damned if he don't. What do y'all want from him? and I thought it was actually really great that Mufasa did not exile him. I mean, it came back and did bite him in the back, in the behind later on in life. But initially, I didn't think it was that I think he did the right thing, because like I said, although nobody else saw Scar for who he was, Mufasa did, and they needed each other. Mufasa knew that it was only because of Scar that he didn't die, but he had to still set an example for the people, for the other animals that was going to be in his kingdom. You know, you can't betray the king and get away with it. So he had to punish him in some way. But I think deep down, Mufasa knew that Scar was his friend in a way. But yeah, guys, that's all I had to say in defense of Scar. And I hope you guys enjoyed the movie. Let me know what y'all thought about it. How did y'all internalize the message of the movie? What did y'all think of it? As always, don't forget to like and subscribe, and bye for now.